I just talked to one of my Korean students who's taking an English conversation with me. And I gave her advice that I think you should listen to. So right now she is, to improve her speaking skills, she is watching the American TV series Friends. And it's a great show. I think it's wonderful. It's fun. There are a lot of expressions that you can learn from it. Now, but you want to be aware that, they're using those phrases in a very specific situation. And so when you're learning those phrases, you want to be aware, like when to use those phrases. Now, but watching Friends is great. But I also have another suggestion. You could also listen to English podcast. Now, what is a podcast? Podcast is like an internet radio, right? And the reason why I also encourage you to listen to podcasts is because, when you watch Friends, right, people are talking to other characters, right? Now, in the podcast, it's usually, one person or one or two people talking to each other. They're usually talking to you, right? The audience. So I think it's much easier for you to understand them because it feels more personal to you. And if you choose a topic that you like, then I think it'll be much easier for you to really engage in the material. So for example, if you are a young parent and if you have a young child at home, then you might want to listen to a parenting advice podcast. So you want to download these MP3 files from websites and you put it in your smartphones, and then you can listen to them while washing dishes. And then because it's a topic that you're already really interested in, I think it's much easier for you to really be engaged in the topic. And not only that, I think it's easier for you to copy the way that person speaks, because that person is essentially talking to you. As opposed to when you watch movies or dramas, they're talking to the characters in that setting. So unless you put yourself in a similar situation, you're not going to use the same phrases they're going to use. However, when you listen to the phrases that are used in the podcast, I think it's more likely that you're going to use those phrases. Why? Because if you're interested in parenting, of course, when you go out and meet other English-speaking friends, you're going to talk about your children, how crazy your children are. You're going to talk about about parenting. So those phrases that you listen to in the podcast, right? You're going to use them in your daily conversation. You're more likely to use them, right? You're more likely to use them. So that is why I want you to try listening to different podcasts and see if you can learn something from them. Oh, you can also listen to my podcast. It's just go to splashenglish.com, and I have my own podcast series. If you're interested, you can check them out. But, again, pick the topic you like, whether that be parenting, gardening, sports, business, whatever it is that you're interested in.